All right, time again for another review of a Hot Wheels car here on Atomic Diecast. And today we're going to do a 2025 edition, which is the 1983 Porsche 928S. And I'm not going to get into a lot about the car. It was Porsche's attempt to create a grand touring sports car. They produced it from 1978 to 1995. And interestingly enough, it was supposed to supplant the 911 model, but it never really did. It didn't catch on. It was popular, but it never outsold the 911. It was a front engine V8. Had a lot going for it, but it never got to the level of popularity that Porsche had hoped that it would. So between 1978 and 1995, they only made 61,000 of these models, and that's pretty low considering how many years they produced it. The back of the card, and again, this is a Hot Wheels, it came out in 2025, reads, "Hear the roar of the 4.6-liter V8 engine. Behold the beauty of the sleek, iconic spoilers. Experience the full throttle of 144 mile an hour top speed. The 928 raises the bar on what it means to be a Porsche." And so performance-wise, in the 80s, it was a pretty fast car. It handled well. It being front engine, it probably didn't handle quite as well as the 911s. I don't know a lot about Porsche. They're okay. I've never been a huge fan of theirs, but this car in a straight line, I think, was as fast as the 911s of that era. And so we'll talk a little bit more about Hot Wheels, their rendition of it, and not get into all the detail of the 928 itself. So this car, this casting came out in 2025. It's new for this year. It came out as a mainline. It's a Muscle Mania car. And they're also doing this later this year in Champagne, Metal Flake Champagne, which I've seen pictures of. I've not seen it in the store, or I'd have one. And it's a really good looking rendition. It has 5-spoke wheels. It has, again, like a champagne metallic paint job. It has a reddish interior, and it really, from what I've seen, it stands out a lot. It's one I definitely want to get. So the casting, this one in particular, I think has a nice color combination. They did a red exterior, bright red gloss. The interior is beige. It has excellent, in my opinion, excellent contrast overall. They did red even on the base. So the base is plastic. It is red. And the car is essentially 4 pieces. There's a red base, which of course houses the axles and the wheels. There is the clear plastic insert, which creates flow front to back. So it not only does the windshield and the side windows and the back window, it also tucks up under 2 cutouts in the hood to create the headlights, and then the taillights as well are acrylic. They're namely the plastic insert which forms the windshield or glass section of the car. Then there's the beige interior, and then there is the metal body. A few things that really stand out, for me at least, on this casting, aside from the acrylic headlights and taillights, which are always a nice touch, is they did put the sunroof on the car, and it's halfway back. So if you look real close, it's not extended as far back into the hood line as it could go. Kind of a unique touch. Not sure why they did it, but I like it. They did the Porsche logo on the hood. The placement of it is very, very well done. And there is tempoing on the side, namely the Hot Wheels logo in black. And then they also did the Porsche scripting, or I should say block lettering, on the quarter panels on both sides. So that looks good. It's typical for a Hot Wheels main line. We got 3 sides of decaling, and that's okay on this one because, again, the headlights and taillights being acrylic, it's almost as if we got details on all 4 sides. Of course, the roof doesn't. Well, actually, the roof does. It has the top side does have the logo. So, not a semi-premium or a Silver Series car, but we're getting accents along those lines. The wheels are aero discs, and I'm not a huge fan of aero discs, but I think they fit the era of the 1980s very well, and they're similar to some of the flat disc wheels that Hot Wheels used back in the 1980s. Again, the champagne colored one that they're going to come out with I assume later this year, I don't know what case it's going to be in, but they use a 5-spoke or 5SP code wheel, and I like it a little bit better. But this rendition is one that I took to pretty quick. I saw a couple of them on the pegs at Target, and I bought one to unbox, and then one I left in the blister. I usually like to do that with cars that really jump out at me, is have one of each. And that's about it. There's not a lot more to talk about. It's a pretty simple casting. There is good interior detailing. It's somewhat hard to see it through the smoked glass, but there's the gear shift knob. The seats are well contoured. There's a little bit of a dashboard. There's a steering wheel. So overall, I really feel like Hot Wheels did a good job with this casting, and we'll do a roll test here. I did weigh it. It came in at 32 grams, which is pretty common. I mean, a lot of the main lines with plastic bases that I have tested so far, if you recall, they're usually in the low 30-gram range. So this one is on par with other normal production castings. All right, we'll do a roll test and see how it does. Okay, we'll send this down the track. As usual, I'm spinning the tires here a few times just to kind of loosen up the axles. They sometimes come with a little bit of bind out of the blister, so it's always good to just spin them. I did clean the track too. There wasn't much dust on it, but I leave this out all the time, so never hurts to just take a cloth and clean that. And all that said, let's give it a try here and see what it does. All right, it went to 3. We'll do it again. Don't see a lot of pull. It goes pretty straight. There's some wheel shake. That's common though. All right, went a little bit further. And the last attempt. All right, it went to 3. So, you'll see that most of these cars, or at least a lot of them, go to 3. And I've set this track up the way that you see here because I want it to be hard for a car to get to the end. I want really for the height of the track to make it so only the exceptional rollers would make it to 4 or 5. Most cars go to 3. Some of the ones that either have a lot of axle bind or have rubber tires, they'll go to 2 or even not that far. So it's not uncommon to see 3. Again, I'm trying to make it so it's much harder to get towards the end, and if it does, then it really sets it off as a really good performer. So again, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll do another one of these soon.